Acknowledge Ataba Sam. Thank you, Ataba Sam. Yinka Joba Olawale. My own AZ there, that's Ekpezu Ezeka. Ekpezu Ezeka is a retired director of the agency. Oje Suleiman, Pascal Ewebu, Akin, Bonafide Brand, N. Grimm, Dr. Oluseyi Dewali, Dr. Oluseyi, thank you for being part of this conversation again today, as usual. Funsho Jimon, thank you. Dr. Yasir Ado, thank you. I'm Kevin Dixon, thank you for being part of the conversation today. Rabbi Rothschild, thank you. Eselebo Joel, thank you for being part of the conversation today. Then would have Prince S. Eshemukai. Prince S. Eshemukai is it's a military personnel based in the U.S., but I think he's still serving in Asia. Thank you, Prince Eshemukai. Opeyemi Oshilagun, Marshal, successful. Then we'll have a runaway, but roving Dr. Kemi Lawrence, formerly Kemi Olunloyo. In fact, the way you move from one part of the world to the other is the same way you switches you switch your account and okay, are you back, Dr. Olunloyo? I've seen. Okay, now Dr. Olukemi Olunloyo. See, now I was already calling you Dr. Kemi Lawrence. Now I've seen Dr. Olukemi Olunloyo. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Kemi Olunloyo. There, Mohammed Bafo Bahama. Doni at the son of Shila, that's Doni at the son of Shilaka, Ola Gold, Ifeloju Adeniyi, Michael Shanu, Primok, I believe a very good friend, Austin Abosureme, joins us from his non-governmental organizations, and that's Primok. Loginans, PK Adekunle, Zedikos, Zul Zoranda, that must be a Dutch name, I guess. I don't know. I can't be too sure. Okay, Wanya Yagbani, thank you. Olorun Tobi Nine, thank you. Da Silva Toshuku, thank you. Kenny Atomokende, thank you. Okay, let's pause it there and then go into the conversation proper, and thereafter we'll go to our NACO quiz session. But because we have let's who do we start with now? Okay, Dr. Kemi, since you are a senior member of this platform and you've been away for some time, and now Dr. Kemi is now a consultant pharmacist. She's back on Head Talk. Dr. Kemi Olunloyo, please, let's have your take. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Mr. Babafemi, can everybody hear me well?
Loud and clear.
Very good. Thank you so much for having me. Good afternoon, everybody on the NDLA space. It's nice to be back after 7 months. I have retired from journalism, 31 years. It was glorious. So I'm back to pharmacy. I'll be 36 years on pharmacy in May. Dr. Adegboye, your bio says you're a physician per excellence, and that's exactly what you are. And I like people who are confident. You put what you are on your bio. Thank you for that awesome presentation. That's in Yoruba, means it's been a long time that we wanted to talk about this topic. Nutraceuticals, big name that they use to hide all these herbal mixtures. I'm currently in Accra, Ghana. I arrived here today because I'm doing a job on HIV and heroin here. This place has a lot of HIV, so that's another day. However, the relationship with herbal mixtures and drugs is becoming very high. And I disclose where I am right now because one of the things we have seen here in Accra in the last 12 hours is the Ghanaian government will not let herbal mixtures be advertised by celebrities. In other words, if it's a bitter, if it's some kind of mixture, the FDA might approve it. That's what they call the NAFDAC here. The FDA might approve it, but celebrities cannot endorse this. I love that. And when Dr. Adegboye said something about we need volunteers, we need people who will bring out the awareness, Let's start with celebrities, and let's start with NASDAQ, who needs to regulate herbal mixtures. Because, like I said, Ghana has approved many of them. However, celebrities in Ghana cannot, endorse them. Dr. Adigboye, I have a question for you, and my question is, you talked about peer pressure. Some of the youth want to drink this stuff so that they can get energy, so that they can be energetic like their friends, so that they can look good and seek validation. Do you think that this is an area of psychiatry that we need to focus more on? Validation to use herbal mixes to get good looks or feel somehow. So that's my question. That's all I have to say today. Do you think psychiatry needs to get more involved in this validation of nutraceuticals? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kemi. Let's have Dr. Mia Messina. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much for what you said about me. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you. And thank you also for the good job. Well done. I hope you're sleeping, because sometimes when you're fully involved in some of these things, you just wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, God, you just jump up and say, oh my God, oh my God. All right, well done, ma.
She's a German machine. She doesn't need to sleep.
Please sleep, oh, please, you have to. All right, thank you for that. You see, I like the fact that of what Ghana is doing. And that's what I recommended when I said NDLDA. Some of these herbal mixtures are legal, right? And they claim it to be safe. But you also will have to fight it legally. So legal fights legal. I don't know. But we just have to find a way around it. To really fight it also legally. It may be legalized, but we can fight back. The second thing about peer pressure and validation, all of that, is that everything begins from home. Everything begins from home. We need to begin to let the family thrive. Families are just trying to survive because of economic situations, different things, the dynamics of different things happening at the same time. So when we see bringing the family selling together, it may still not work. It may still not give us the results we want. But if family is in place, the community support is in place, this communal upbringing and coming together is in place, I believe it will go a long way to help. However, the counselors, the counselors we have in some of the schools, for me, I think we need to upgrade what the counseling needs, because I've seen a serious gap in the counseling sessions, counselors, and all of that we have in schools. That's why we can't judge and we can't stigmatize, because some of these counselors, the first thing they do when they have any child is to judge, marginalize, ostracize, and all of that. So we need to begin to work to ensure that we bring coaching, mentorship back to the homes, back to the schools, back to our religious homes, back to the market spaces. And I want to tell you, Ma, it is a very strong point that I would love us to bring back. So what do we need to do? Is think that NDLDA, maybe we should begin to bring meetings of counselors together. I think from this meeting we can begin to do that. All counselors from all schools, we organize a seminar, we organize an outing, we organize a webinar or something for counselors, so that we begin to do more. Parents and all of that. And then we do, it's a lot of work. That's why I say we need volunteers. Sometimes, because of how this thing is, we may not have to wait for them to invite us before we invite ourselves to their spaces. We will not wait for them to invite us and say, come, but we will be the ones to invite ourselves to their own space when we see some of these things. And I hope that from this meeting we begin something really serious. I know you're doing a lot, but there's always room for more. All right, thank you so much. I hope I've answered your question, man. Thank you. And over.
All right, thank you very much there, Dr. Yemisi, for your response to Dr. Kemi's question. All right, let's take. Okay, let's still ask one more here before I go to our DM. We have Albert Gideon. Albert Gideon, if you are ready, please unmute yourself and let's hear your contribution or your question. Albert Gideon. Otherwise, I'll go into our DM to read some of the questions. Okay, let's take some from our DM. For those that may want to ask questions, please, you can go ahead, request for the mic, and then we'll approve you. You stay muted until we invite you to ask your question or make your contribution. Okay, let's have this one from Ife Olua. What a brilliant presentation by our guest speaker today. Thank you very much, Dr. Yemisi, for your presentation. I'd like to ask, are these herbal mixtures as addictive as pharmaceuticals? Okay, let's leave it there. Okay, Dr. Yemisi, I'm sure you got that.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Yes, it's equally addictive. Some of them may be synthetic, quite okay, but they are equally addictive because they are also stimulants and they are also psychoactive substances.
The importance of the family. Most of the challenges we have in the bigger society stems from the smaller society, like the home. And oftentimes, even if you look at the narrative of crime beyond drug abuse, generally a child that is from a home where the parents are together is less prone to commit crimes and all. There was particularly a data I was reviewing sometimes ago in CDC. Some of the juveniles they arrested for certain crimes, sexual abuse, drug abuse, and the likes. They discovered that children that are from broken homes, they appeared more on some of the criminal whatever they had. So, which I think according to statistics that I was reviewing back then, a child that is from a broken home is 13 times more likely to all these abuses, criminal acts or deviant acts. So it just further shows that the home is important. And if you're ever going to win the battle for the substance abuse in Nigeria, I think the home is going to take a very big chunk of the fight. Also, she mentioned, the second speaker, Dr. Kemins, he spoke a bit on herbal mixtures. She was focusing on Ghana, and I'm also looking at Nigeria spaces. Most of the herbal mixtures we have around are sexual enhancing herbal mixtures. And I'm just looking at if we even have, of course, I've read some research work that were carried out, laboratory tests on some of these herbal mixtures, and they discovered that they have some psychoactive substances which are there. Unfortunately, they do not write some of these things out fully on their labels. And also, some of these herbal mixtures, they have NAFDAC registration number. And I'm wondering, how is NAFDAC missing these particular substances? Because I don't know, I'm lost. Probably this could be a question. Is NAFDAC missing out that the fact that these herbal mixtures that they are licensing? Because yes, I've seen some of them, they have NAFDAC registration number. Are we saying that the NAFDAC registration number they have, are they fake? Or is it that NAFDAC is missing out on their laboratory tests? Because the laboratory test should be able to detect some of these psychoactive substances which are coated underneath the ingredients and may not really be listed as part of the ingredient. I don't know, is NAFDAC missing out, or are they having fake NAFDAC registration number? I think I want to throw this off for discourse. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much there, Yinka. Let me quickly come in there. I wouldn't know Dr. Remington will come in, but then because you mentioned NAFDAC, and I know we have a very good and strong working relationship with NAFDAC, and I know that because, for instance, one of the new psychoacid, some of the herbal drinks, they call it akuskura, that we have arrested some of the producers, distributors, and even seized some of these products. Indeed, some of them may have NAFDAC registration number approved, but just the herbal. But what these people do after the registration, then they go behind again to add some other things to these products. We have seen some of these herbal drinks that we have intercepted, and with this class A drug. So there was no our to get the registration, to get the certification. Clandestine production houses where some of these things are produced, and I also sure that NAFDAC has been doing the same thing. That's just my own explanation there, because I know we work closely with NAFDAC on this thing, so that's why I can speak on that. Thank you, Yinka. So you may have to mute yourself now, Yinka. There's an interference coming from you. Okay. All right, Dr. Yebisi, you want to say something to that?
Yes, please. So thank you so much for that contribution. And I want to say that what emphasizes that some of these things may be level, but we need to find them better too. Because based on what Dr. Kelly said about our experience in Ghana, it means that some of them, even the NAFDAC they have there, knows that some of these things have some of these psychoactive substances. And so the government came in waiting and said, okay, celebrities, we don't want to see your face. We don't want to see you wear this to promote it in any way. So I just want to say we need to still look critically, sit down, ensure that our policies about those things and ensure they are well implemented so that we can fight well, fight right, and ensure we curb this menace in time. Because I want to let you know that this thing that sits into our space, all our spaces, and we need to do something. So thank you so much. So it's just for us to be more curious and vigilant and know exactly what is happening between NAFDAC and some of these products. Thank you, sir. And overall.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Dr. Kenny. I saw your hand up.
What I've noticed in Ghana now, and I've been working for the last 12 hours on this, celebrities are not allowed to promote bitters or any kind of nutraceutical herbal mixture. Also, Dr. Yemisi, the billboards in Ghana are not allowed to promote herbals and bitters, and also television and radio. The only place where bitter makers, I think the very first bitter that came out in the whole business, I think it's Aluminum, but I don't want to mention any other brands, but it started in Ghana, and they can only promote on social media. That's it. No celebrities must endorse, no celebrities must promote. Social media is all they have. They didn't give them a wide array of venues to promote. No billboards, no television, no radio, no celebrities. Because of the same thing that Mr. Babafemi just said, they go back and will add things to it. So the FDA in Ghana is really monitoring them. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Kemi. Dr. Kemi from Maryland, US, now in Ghana, and then tomorrow she'll be in Equatorial Guinea. All right, thank you, Dave. Just our own regular way. All right, okay, I think we have acknowledged Albert Gideon. Thank you, Albert. We'd also have a very senior member of the platform, Dr. Hasia Adamobi, very committed and dedicated woman to this cause. Thank you very much, Dr. Asia, for coming around. Okay, we also have John David. John David Ola, thank you, John David, for coming around. We will be acknowledging more people as we go by. I am Atanga. Oh, what a name! Thank you, I am Atanga, for coming around. We would also have Captain Gwen. Thank you, Captain Gwen, for coming around. Okay, let's pause it there. Let's take some questions from our DM. Okay, because the time is like flying against us. Okay, this is from Bam Kole. Thank you, Dr. Yemisi, for your presentation. I can see quite a lot of benefits in all you said. Now, my question is, you mentioned herbal mixtures can cause cancer. I have also read in a journal that cannabis causes cancer too. Can you first break it down for us how some of these mixtures can cause cancer, and then if it's related to what I said, the journal, the findings of a journal that I read, does cannabis belong to this? Because I have read that cannabis, abuse of cannabis can also cause cancer. Thank you for your brilliant job you have done today. All right, thank you too, Bankole, for being part of our conversation and for your question. Please go ahead, Dr. Remisi.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, when we say cancer, what I was talking about, it means that the cells grow just decided or they begin to grow abnormally. I don't want to go into the medical details, but the simple thing anyone who wants to know about cancer is that it occurs because some cells are growing abnormally beyond what they're supposed to, and then they are just growing. And so, why is it so? When we talk of these psychoactive substances, these stimulants, these mixtures, and all of that, some people may be genetically predisposed, or they have one of risk factors or the other. Who knows? In their DNA and all of that. So once they begin these substances, they have a way of influencing their DNA to cause some form of mutations, to cause some form of abnormality. And once there is an abnormality in any cell, it can begin to proliferate. And once it begins to proliferate, it senses that, okay, now, let me tell you something about proliferation. It begins to proliferate, but our body is made in such a way that when there's an abnormal cell, our body should be able to fight it, eat up that abnormal cell. But if the immune system is low, if some of these psychoactive substances cause, you know that these people are prone to infections. These people are prone to imbalanced diet and all of that. They are prone to a lot of things. So once the immune system is weak, the body will not be able to fight, and so the cells just grow abnormally. And then boom, cancer is there in those who abuse the things. So that's why I mentioned that you can be shocked that it was all these normal things that we know that you will find in some of these herbal mixtures. There are new eggs every day. There are new mixtures every day that we don't know right now. That some people they say, oh, they caught us with this. What is another way? Let's think of something else. And then they are working to get new things. And so that is why it causes cancer. All right, thank you, and over.
All right, thank you there, Dr. Yemisi, for breaking that down. Okay, let me quickly, again, before I read, go to the next question, and then let me quickly acknowledge some of our compatriots on the space. We have Ejina Luatishe. Thank you, Ejina Luatishe. We also have Ekunda Your House. Thank you, Ekunda Your House. Kelly Clark. Thank you. Baba Yemi Saida, thank you, Baba Yemi Saida. Osa, thank you. Digital Marketing Agency in UK, thank you for being part of our conversation today. That's at More of Good Life. I want that too, more of that. Thank you, more, for being part of our conversation today. Philip, thank you for coming around. T-Tom, thank you for coming around. Anna Faith, thank you for being part of our conversation today. Okay, let's pause it again while we take some more questions. Okay, this one is from Shika. All right, I've listened to Dr. Yemisi. I enjoyed her presentation. Thank you very much, Dr. Yemisi. You said alcohol is also dangerous and it's tantamount to drug abuse. Why then is it allowed for consumption? I think it should be the most consumed drug in Nigeria, going by the rate young and old, male and female consume it. Why is it then allowed if it's dangerous and it's tantamount to drug abuse? All right, thank you. Over to you, Dr. Yemisi.
All right, thank you very much. I'm laughing because sometimes we have to sit down to ask ourselves these questions, and the truth is sometimes we don't have real, correct, straightforward answers for them. If you look at the definition of what a drug is a chemical, any chemical substance that is either artificial or natural and can bring about a change in the biological function or structure of the body through its chemical actions when administered or absorbed into the body. And when you say anything is a drug, it can also affect, modify, influence our perception, the way we think, the way we behave, our mood, our body functions, most times in these cases, negatively. And so when you look at what alcohol is a substance. Why is it legalized? I said it in one of my podcasts that I said alcohol is a legalized drug by God. Majorly because some people will talk about their rights, some people will talk about the economic development it brings, and all of that. And so, because the governments all over the world, they know it is a substance, there is something they introduced that they call sin tax. SINTAXES, sin taxes. It means that there are some products, we call them luxury products, or products that are harmful to the body, that people take. So the tax is then more than any other. So that from that tax, they will develop the country or help the health system to grow. All of that's how it functions all over the world. Except some countries that are really built that some of the states will not work in their economy because they're already seeing the interest. So why it is so, why we are still allowing it in our spaces, I don't really know. But what I know is what I've spoken about, and that's why there is a sin tax on them. I know Dr. Ken is here, or some other people who can shed more light on this. Something some of these things are regulated. That's regulated. But to stop it, well, I wouldn't say. So I hope I've not confused you.
I believe you have. I believe you should have convinced Shika rather than confused.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yemisi. Shika, I believe Dr. Yemisi has answered you. Okay, Dr. Kemi wants to chip in there. Please go ahead.
Very much so. She has pretty much answered what I wanted to say. Dr. Yemisi, it's a revolving door. I mean, Mr. Babafemi, when I approached you in 2022, exactly 3 years ago, it was actually February, I came to you around February 22nd, 2022. And said, please, I want to do a program I did in America 30 years ago. We did this program in America. I did a drug abuse program. I was honored everywhere from Congress to the White House. 30 years later, I brought this program to my own country. We did it. I was with the NDLE for 30 months, from February 2022 to July 2024. as much as we do this work on getting the drugs off the streets, it's a revolving door. It will go, it will come. So we have to continue this education from schools to workplace to communities. At one point, it was not in the workplace. At one point, it was not in schools. Now we have it in schools. University students are using drugs in the dormitory, in the hostels. Now we have to target the schools, the workplace, and the communities. So it's an ongoing thing. You know, Dr. Yemisi said it all. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, there, Dr. Kemba. Like you rightly said, that definitely, alcohol is globally. Then we also know that here in Nigeria, from okay is asking, Dr. Yemisi did analyze very well some of the consequences, some of the causes and consequences of the abuse of these herbal mixtures. And one of the things she said was that stress and some other factors may be responsible for the abuse of these herbal mixtures. I'd like to ask her, how can some management techniques be introduced to reduce the risk of abusing these herbal mixtures? Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Okay, there. Dr. MC, I believe you heard that.
Yes, I do. Thank you so much.
Yes, Dr. MC, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Hello? Hello?
Dr. Yemisi, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
I can hear you very well, Dr. Yemisi.
Okay, can somebody hear? Are we on the same page?
We're all on the same page. Mr. Babasa, can you hear you?
Yes, I can hear.
Let me know.
I can hear
So we can hear both of them. Okay,
all right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Mahmoud.
Yes. So the thing there is,
okay. This is from my end. The problem is from my end.
So we need to begin to ensure that mentorship and coaching comes into all spaces. There's something called coping mechanisms. And we have the positive coping mechanisms and the negative coping mechanisms. So we need to come to a place where we can begin to train people on how they can cope in their situations, either good or bad. And whenever everybody has a situation, even good situations, some people can cope negatively and can lead them to trouble. Like Yoruba will say, I am not man. Some people receive good news, exciting news, something that will make them maybe promotion, something good, they give birth to a child, something nice that they proposed, something good, and the next thing, they binge alcohol and all of that, and then they run into trouble, coma, something just happens. So when we talk about coping mechanisms, it's for both good situations and bad situations. It's for every situation. So we need to begin to bring people to that space. If this is this, how do you go? What are the things you need to do? And the first thing to talk about when you're thinking of coping mechanisms is this. Is this thing within my control or outside my control? Because sometimes we just put unnecessary stress, unnecessary worry upon ourselves, and then we put ourselves in trouble. So we need to know, if this is out of my control, then it means I can't do anything about it. So why worry? Why talk about it? Why complain? Why think about it? Why do I have sleepless nights over it? It's out of my control. So then we need to focus and build on the things that were there. So coping mechanisms are very key, very important to ensure that stresses does not. Coping mechanisms are very key, very important to ensure that stresses does not drown us into taking drugs or abusing any substance. All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much there, Dr. Yemisi, for that intervention. Okay, let's take the next question now. Okay, some of the questions that have been answered, I will skip that. Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Yemisi. I work in the school environment. Can you please give some more insight on how schools and generally work environment or workplaces can promote healthy living in such a way that would discourage our young people from going into these herbal mixtures in the name of trying to get alert or succumb to peer pressure? Thank you. All right, I think that's just another coming through another angle.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for that.
Dr. Emisi, I don't know if you got me.
Yes, I got you. One of the major problems we have with our teenagers, our children, the youth, even some adults, is identity crisis. And so, when people begin to have identity crisis, it throws them off guard, and then they begin to do things they are not supposed to do. So, in school environment, in the child in the home, one of the things we need to do is build people to let them know who they are, their purpose. It's a lot that I can't finish talking about here. Because if you have good identity, you are self-aware, you have discovered who you are, it's very difficult for people to influence you. But when people don't know who they are, whosoever people impose on them that they are, or whosoever people impose on them that they should be among, be active, be awake, you can be dangerous, you can burn you, and all of that, they take up to it. They see Nigeria, celebrities we've not banned all this from our televisions and our screens and billboards. And then somebody they see as their mentor, or somebody they admire, even in the community, is taking some of these things. They just flow along because they don't know who they are. They don't know where they are going. So the first thing we need to build in people. In fact, you know that we can build people in such a way that these people can have this on the shelf and they don't sell. It's because people know who they are and they know the danger. So no matter how much they coin the name, they call it sweet name or sweet juice, whatever, it won't influence them because they know who they are. So apart from building people on what they are, then we need to continue to raise awareness. It's very important. We cannot stop this. That's why all of us on this space, we need to, this message, we have to carry it around. We need to go back, read more about these things, and begin to tell people about it. So thank you so much, and over. Hello, sir. Hello.
All right, thank you there, Dr. Oluwayemisi, for that. Let's take probably this will most likely be the last question before we go into our NACO quiz. But then when you Okay, so when you answer this question, you may have to then give your closing remarks along with it, even though you still be with us on the space while we go through narco quiz session. This last question we can take on this conversation today. Let me quickly run through this. Okay. Ini is asking how. Okay, they're quite okay. Let me read this one. Okay, she's asking quite a number of times we see how some of these herbal products and herbal mixtures are taken in some neighborhoods that are really not that can suggest that they are poor in such an environment. And again, in some homes, you also see these things due to what has come from their lineage. Can Dr. Yemisi actually put a link between this and the abuse of these things? That is talking about genetics and environment, how they contribute to the proliferation and abuse of these herbal drinks in some parts or across some neighborhoods in the country. All right, thank you, Dr. Emisi.
Thank you so much for bringing genetics and environment into this. And I want to let you know that almost everything we're talking about things is about the environment. Right? Okay. But the thing there is exposure, experience is very key in this thing. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, whosoever anybody becomes is a matter of choice. Nobody wants to know where you grew from, what happened in your situation, what did you go through, and all of that. Whosoever you become, whatever you pick, whatever behavior you pick, whatever character you pick, whatever thing you want to follow is about your choice. Yes, exposure and environment plays a lot of role. So what do we do? It's just to ensure that we don't stop talking about this. We continue to tell people, we continue to tell everyone everywhere. Even in our churches and in our mosques, please, let's ensure we talk about this. Even in religious homes, it's not exempted. In our offices, it's very important. In our marketplaces, anywhere we find ourselves. The other thing I want us to think about is policies and implementation. What else can we do? How does it become, okay, now, there is a move to ensure that cigarettes is not, we don't smoke cigarettes in open spaces. Is it possible to limit the sale of alcohol, where they sell alcohol, how you buy alcohol, and all of that in open spaces, like the way it's being moved for cigarettes? So these are some of the things we need to talk about. Like what Dr. Okemi said is that it's revolving. So as they are revolving and thinking about how to do their stuff, we also need to see how we can move a step ahead so that we can help this generation and the next generation and generations to come. All right, thank you so much. And over. All right, sir. Dr. Femi, can you hear me?
Okay, thank you very much, dear Dr. Oluwayemisi Adegboye. Indeed, there is no doubt that she's giving a very good account of herself today, and I believe we've really had an awesome time with her on this space. Quite insightful, quite illustrative and informative, as well as educative. Thank you once again, Dr. Oluwayemisi Adegboye. Dr. Oluwayemisi Adegboye is well trained, indeed, in quite a lot of areas of public health, especially healthcare management, monitoring and evaluation, health system strengthening, leadership in healthcare, health policy fellowship, and gender transformative leadership, intersectionality. I appreciate we all on behalf of the management and our team in the NDLA. We appreciate your time with us today. Well, still stay by. We are not closing yet. It's just that this segment of the conversation. But before we switch, let me quickly. I have seen Dr. Abdullah. Dr. Abdullah is a consultant psychiatrist at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital Zaria. He joins us via the handle of our Mental Health Foundation. That's his NGO that year. He also uses to support those struggling with substance abuse out there. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah, for always coming. I would like to once again appreciate all our compatriots on our other platforms, that's on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you very much for being part of our conversation today. Quickly, let's take a NACO quiz. Now, on a NACO quiz, we have 3 questions that we're going to be asking. For those who have a very good understanding of these issues, please just type your response on our timeline. Then the first person to drop the correct answer will be selected, and one of my colleagues will reach you at the end of the space to send to you a gift, your prize, your win. Okay, the first question today, I'm sure even in the presentation today by Dr. Yemisi, she must have mentioned some of these things, but then we still have to go ahead. Our first question is, name 3 ailments that can be traced to the use of cocaine, heroin, and meth. 3 ailments that are usually the consequences of abuse of cocaine, heroin, and meth. Name 3 ailments. Okay, that is 1. The first person to drop the correct answer will definitely be the winner for that particular question. Number 2. Okay, name 4 major pillars in the National Drug Control Master Plan, NDCMP. 4 major pillars in the NDLA's National Drug Control Master Plan. That is 4 areas, 4 pillars of the functions of the NDLA. Name 4 of them. Then the last one, let me look for a very simple one here. Okay, and I'm also sure Dr. Yemisi has also provided an answer, a clue to this. List 2 major common symptoms of drug withdrawal. 2 major common symptoms of drug withdrawal. That's withdrawal symptom. I believe even this question had come one way or the other in one of our questions in previous edition. Okay, let me just give this Jara question. Name how many times the NDLA chairman has appeared on the NDLA Xspace conversation as guest speaker. How many times has the chairman of NDLA, General Marwa, appeared as guest speaker on this Xspace conversation? All right, those are the questions. Let's we'll definitely let me provide some of the answers. But if after the answers, your answer now come on our timeline, after I have read out the answers, then you can be a winner. That's Expo. Okay, the first question, name 3 ailments that can be traced to the use of cocaine, heroin, and meth. Definitely, there are some of the things Dr. Yemisi spoke about. The first is high blood pressure, stroke, and possible heart failure, which is death. Number 2, the second question that we asked, name 4 major pillars in the National Drug Control Master Plan. Okay, that's the answer to that is drug supply reduction, drug demand reduction, access to control part of this conversation, especially our guest speaker, Dr. Oluwayemisi Adegboye. Dr. Oluwayemisi Adegboye is from the University of Ilorin. She's been practicing public health for close to 2 decades now, and that's where her passion lies. And indeed, nobody has a doubt about that, because she's giving a very good account of herself on this space today. Indeed, she obtained a master's degree and a doctorate degree, that a PhD in public health, and also a postgraduate degree in education, which enables her to use her educational skills to pass mental health information through teaching to the public. That she has also proven here today. Once again, we'd like to appreciate Dr. Oluwayemisi Adegboye for being part of the conversation, for sparing us 2 solid hours of our time to be part of this conversation today. Thank you very much. Madam, we'd also like to appreciate all our companions across the world. Thank you very much. Timing is not inconvenient. Most times we are find part of it. We appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you do to support. For those whose answers came before, who gave answers in back of this session, definitely congratulations. If your responses or your answers came after I have read out your answers, then definitely we are not award. We cannot send you any prize for that. Okay, let me also appreciate my colleagues on this end. Rita, Victor, Mahmoud, Daly, Francis, and all of the beautiful guys in the house. Thank you very much, all of you guys. You know, I may not be able to mention all your names, but I appreciate all your support from behind the scene. Until we come your way again next Friday, same time, by the grace of Almighty God. Please, as we often say, it's Friday, but then yes, let's not let down our guard. Let's listen to wise counsel, and let's be good to ourselves by abstaining from some of the things we have been discussing on this platform today, so that we can live a healthy life and live long. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye from here. Over to you, Mahmoud.
Thank you very much, sir. This brings us to the end of the program, as you rightly said. For more information about the NDLA, our listeners can visit our website www.ndla.gov.ng. Our social media platforms remain at ndla_Nigeria on X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. On Facebook, it is at ndla01. Do join us same time next week for another edition of this wonderful program. Bye bye.
Hello, doctor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.